on planet Earth. Certainly in Chicago, anyways. You are everywhere. I don't know. Is there 3 of you?
I wish. No, it's just Whitney 1, not Whitney to the third power.
The one.
But today I actually am to the third power because it's Whitney's women, and I have a man and a woman on today. Yeah, so it's always good to be in studio with
Thank you so
Brady.
much for bringing some friends in, and let's talk about it.
Yeah, so this is actually really important. I actually did a show on drowning awareness. And on my show, there was a good story because the daughter lived because the son knew CPR. But that's not always the case. And one of the things is learning how to swim and then also being able to perform CPR in case there's an emergency. And that's where my 2 guests come in today. Welcome to the show, Alex and Anna. How are you?
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
We're doing great.
I know. So Goldfish Swim School is a premier swim lesson place across Chicagoland. And as you teach these kids to swim, it's all ages. So it's not like they have to come in as newborns and learn how to swim. It's all ages.
Yeah, we go all the way up to 12 years old and beyond that. It's really just anybody that needs to learn how to swim, which is everybody. We invite them to come in and have a fun experience.
Well, it sounds like a no-brainer because I grew up, just always swimming, but I was talking to my mom about it, and actually we learned how to swim at one point. Like, she took us for lessons. How often is it that kids come in as like a 10-year-old and is still terrified of the water?
It's super common. It's one of the most common things that we have. The older kids come in, and you think they're a little bit older. It's not going to be as bad for them, and they're terrified.
Yeah.
So it's really important to get them in early. But if they're not able to, we love to take them.
And May is Water Prevention Awareness Month, and we are officially in May, even though these April showers are still following us. So, May, tell us about water prevention or drowning prevention, water safety.
So it is our Water Safety Month. This whole month we're going to be focusing on, during lessons especially, like what we can do to prevent any type of drowning. We have cards that we provide to parents so that they're aware of things, steps to take if they're especially on vacation. The summer's coming up. We want to make sure that they are aware of what to do. And how to prevent anything, how to stay safe in the pool. And for the children, during our lessons, we have a water safety skill that we do on the wall, and I know Marlo and Atra do it. Just simple steps to take if they ever get into kind of like an emergency situation, what to do if they fall in, turning around, swimming back to the wall.
That's a big key component, is actually knowing how to get out in case you fall in. Because that's something that I think would be like, you just don't really think about whenever you're thinking about teaching. That would be something like you think about your backstroke, but what happens if you fall in?
Yeah,
and there's not always that life preserver just to throw in. Brady, do you know how to swim?
Well, I'm honestly a horrible swimmer, but it's probably because I was a late bloomer. I didn't grow up in the water. I didn't grow up, and it's funny because I'm from the East Coast, but I know what you say when you're saying that kids are terrified. That was me. I was literally like the 9-year-old kid, scared to get in the pool, staying in the kiddie section, if you will, because it's scary. There's a lot of anxiety there.
Yeah.
You would not believe how many people your age come up to me and ask to, secretly learn how to swim.
Well, maybe we should start like an adult chapter.
There's a secret society of this.
Yeah. So let's talk about the nonprofit that you guys have partnered with.
Yeah.
So tell us about it, Alex.
So this is an initiative that all Goldfish franchises are getting together for. So we are partnering with the USA Swim Foundation, and we're on the side of the Make a Splash initiative. So what we're doing is we're looking to raise $1 million by 2024, and we're doing fun events in the month of May every year leading up to that. We're going to do fun events, fundraisers, and we're just asking our communities to help us out. For me, I'm going to be matching every dollar this year donated by our members to give an in-kind donation to a local shelter to give their families swim lessons at Goldfish.
That is so neat. And so that's essentially what the nonprofit is raising money for, is families that can't afford swim lessons.
Exactly.
And you think about it, and all these activities add up. And I mean, just as a parent myself, there's a lot of pressure. Like, whenever I see someone else's kid in ballet, I'm like, gotta get him in ballet. And there's all this pressure of like what you gotta get your kids into. But this one is like life-saving.
So
and it's important to know how to swim. It's a life skill.
We're excited because the American Academy of Pediatrics just updated their policy on recommending that all children take swim lessons when they at 1. So they didn't really have any recommendations before this, and we find in our facilities, if you start at 1 or even before, when you're independent, 2.5 and 3, you are leaps and bounds ahead of any, a student that hasn't, or is just starting at 3.
Well, that is so interesting to even think about, because I remember, like, when my kids started walking, I was like, when they started learning a foreign language before they were actually talking, I was like, shouldn't they know our main language first? But then, if you think about it, they're not even walking and you want them to learn how to swim.
Yeah.
There must be something to learning many things at once and kind of how it can stay with them over time.
Well, really, there's an aspect of fear, right? Because I mean, all children have a fear of separation anxiety. I mean, it's a scary concept of just something that's new. So when they start at 1, the fear kind of goes away. You start with your parents in the water, and it's familiar. So, and the big thing about being safe is just being familiar. If you were to fall in the water and you had never done it before, it would be scary, and you would kind of lose control. But for the kids that start at 1, I mean, they're very used to that feeling, so it's less risky for them. They can.
Well, and I know just like with events too that you guys host, you also teach CPR, which is the key component, because in case something did happen, it's always nice to have that in your tool belt as well.
So all of our staff is CPR certified. They all go through an Ellis certification process that really focuses on safety, CPR, and it requires a lot more work than any other provider.
Wow.
So it's really nice.
So let's talk about this. I know you said you're raising funds for people that can't afford swim lessons to have them, but you're actually doing a free swim lesson for all of Chicagoland.
We are.
Yeah, stay on the road, people. Don't get too excited when you hear this. Okay, so tell us about this. Is it the world's biggest swim lesson?
It's going to be the
Did I just take it up a notch? Okay.
It's going to be hosted on May 18th. So visit your local Goldfish Swim School website. There's going to be more information on it, but a lot of schools are going to have safety demonstrations. We have what's our water safety, and it's an acronym. Water.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw it in your little write-up. I'm like, those are a lot of words. It is the acronym for water. Do you know it?
Yeah, so it's wear your life jacket.
Act, throw, don't go.
Yes.
Act, throw, don't go. That's a good one.
Yeah. Take swim lessons.
Take swim lessons.
Educate.
Yep.
And the R, do not run around the pool.
Play it cool, follow the rules.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
rules!
tough.
I knew. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I
we're
love
there.
that. And so Water Safety Awareness Month is really something we want everyone to know across Chicagoland, no matter your age, because like I said, we have done a show with that, and there wasn't a happy ending, but it's easy. And the kids had already known how to swim. That was the thing, that everyone needs to know either what to keep an eye out for in case the kid's in danger. What else can we learn this month of safety?
So especially to parents, we recommend that whenever they're near a pool or water or a body of water, to establish a water watcher to make sure that they are in charge of watching the kids. So even if you're there, you're like, oh, I'm going to read a book. No, put that book down.
Right.
Don't go on Instagram. Put your phone down. If you are the assigned water watcher, you are required to have your eyes on those kids at all times.
I love that as a water watcher, because that is something we can easily do, but it would be just easy to forget.
A simple conversation that we're having,
right.
A child could have slipped in. So it's really important to make sure that all eyes are on the kids at all times, and making sure that if you are being preventative and wearing a life jacket, putting a life jacket on your child, making sure that we establish the differences between the life jacket and floaties, because floaties, we have the common mistake that they are safe when they are not.
What about the growing number of all of these giant flotations?
Oh yeah, the big unicorn,
and all
the donuts.
It's got to be crazy safety issues with those, right?
There are. Anything that is inflatable, it's not approved by the Coast Guard, by the U.S. Coast Guard, and that's what you're looking for. Anything that has that stamp of approval by them is going to be safe, is going to prevent anything from happening. Anything that's inflatable, unfortunately, is not. So if you do have those, make sure that they are wearing life jackets on top of it. Make sure that you do have that water watcher that is paying attention to the children at all times.
Those are such great tips. And I know they're on your website as well. Where can people find out more?
If you come to our event on May 18th.
Oh yeah, the biggest swim party.
We are going to have a lot of these cards that are very informational for parents. A lot more pamphlets. We're going to have these demonstrations for them as well, and more.
And it's absolutely free. There's no gimmicks or anything. You want people to learn about water
free.
Safety, and that is so neat.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for coming on and being my woman
Yeah.
and my man of the week. It's always great to have a full studio.
It is, yeah. And Whitney, I know you're busy, but we're talking about swimming. We're talking about summer. It's coming. You're probably going to have another crazy busy summer coming up, right?
Yeah, you know, I have a couple of events coming up as well that I would love people to get involved with. We have one at Italy that is going to be benefiting the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention of Illinois. I'm actually cooking. Now, don't get scared. I have someone helping me. That is, you know, I'd like to say I'm fairly good at a few things, and cooking is not one of them. Thank goodness for my husband, because he normally has that area. But I will be doing it, and it's going to be a great time just to get out and meet our viewers, because, you know, I thank Chicagoland, because being a strong home base and helping us do this outreach of the show is so great. But I'm in your TVs, and I want to meet you in person. So this is a great opportunity to come out, see what the Whitney Reynolds Show is about, find out more about our topics. We are in a season where our viewers are weighing in and sending me their delicate stories. And I want you to know, if you sent me one and you're hearing this today, I've seen it, I hear you, and we are investigating to see if we can get that on our air, because I am so thankful to be a safe space for these stories across Chicagoland.
And we love you for that. So thank you, the wonderful Whitney Reynolds. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you, Brady.
For more information, check out WhitneyReynolds.com or get social with us. Twitter @Whitney Reynolds or on Facebook, The Whitney Reynolds Show.